Okay, here's our video on multiplying and dividing integers. Okay, so with multiplication, we know multiplication is just repeated addition. Right? So for example, if I had 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, we know that's just 3 times 4. Repeated addition is multiplication. So multiplication is a shortcut to addition. So think of sets. We have 3 times 4 is 12. So we have 4 sets of 3. Now, since multiplication is commutative, you know you can also have 3 sets of 4. So if I gave you this on a quiz, you can make sets, collections. So we can make one set of 3. Here's one set of 3. And we can make another set of 3. And we can make another set of 3. So now we have 4 sets of 3. That's what multiplication is. So let's look at a number line here. And let's do a multiplication. So we already know when we can have positive numbers, like we know 4 times 2, we know 4 times 2 is 8. So how can you say that, 4 times 2, using sets? You can say there's 4 sets of 2, or, because of the commutative property, there's 2 sets of 4. So what is 2 sets of 4, or 4 sets of 2 on the number line? What do you think? So if we do this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one set. Say one set. And then another set, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 sets of 4, and we know is 8 on the number line. Now, of course, we can do negative numbers too. We can have negative 4 times 2. So what does that mean? What does negative 4 times 2 mean? So it means you have 2 sets of negative 4. So you have to go back this way. 2 sets of negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one set. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 sets. 2 sets of negative 4. Now you can never have negative 4 of something because any negative number that is not concrete. You can't grab a negative number. Okay, so here's negative 3 times 5. So we'll think 5 sets of negative 3. Or you owe $3 5 times. So what would that answer be? If you owe $3 5 times, you owe negative 15. So as you can see, we know that 2 positive numbers, if we take a positive number, we'll make that's positive. A positive times a positive number, we know is a positive. We've been doing that since 3rd grade, probably. But a positive times a negative number will always be negative. A positive times a negative number will always be negative. Will always be negative. How would you do this on a number line? How would you explain to me the sets? Okay, well, explaining the sets, we can say, well, we have 5 sets of negative 4. 5 sets of negative 4. Remember, we can't have a negative set of anything, so it's 5 sets of negative 4. So if we make a number line, right, we can make that 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's one set. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 2 sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 3 sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 sets. Remember, we need 5 sets. We ran out of room. Well, let's do more. 1, 2, 3, 4, there's our 5 sets. So if you count all these numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Negative 20, because it's going that way. But of course, 5 times 4 is 20, and anytime you have different signs, remember that's a positive sign, that's a negative sign. Anytime they're unlike, we say unlike. Unlike signs means the 2 numbers don't have the same sign. So we know unlike signs are always negative. Unlike signs are always negative. 2 positive signs are always positive. 2 negative signs are always positive. They're like signs. So like signs, right over here, like signs, the same sign will always be positive. The answer will be positive. So again, a positive times a positive is a positive. We know that. A negative times a negative is also a positive. Remember, this is for multiplication and division. And unlike signs will always be what? Negative. Good. Now, what about this? Negative 5 times negative 3. Well, they're like signs, so you know the answer is going to be positive. And what's 5 times 3? It's 15. So again, like signs are always positive in multiplication and division. So let's think of division. Think of sharing with division. So here's our first one. 10 divided by 5. 5 people want to share 10 items. So if 5 people want to share 10 items, how much will each person get? 2, right? These are all positive. Now with negatives, we can say 5 people owe $10. 5 people owe $10. So how much will they each pay? They'll each pay $2. And you know, unlike signs, will always be negative anyway. What if we had one that was this? Erase this. What if we had a negative 20, let's put a negative 20 there, divided by 4? What would that answer be? Well, we could say 4 people owe $20. So they'll each pay negative 5. Remember, like signs are negative anyway. So what would this answer be? What if I had 10 divided by negative 2? 10 divided by negative 2. They're unlike signs. So what would the answer be? Negative 5. Okay. Now what if you had them both negative? Now we said with multiplication, like signs, these are like signs. They're both the same sign. They're always positive. But when you have two positive signs, here you can think of money, owing money, and what you will pay. Right? So you're going to end up paying $20. That's the negative. And you're making $4 payments each time. So how many months will you pay $4? That's what you can think of when you see two negatives. So what do you think? 5 times. For 5 months, you'll pay $4 and end up paying $20, whatever the reason was. Maybe you found a new Pokemon somewhere. Who knows? Okay, and again, like signs will always be positive. Now, something about division. Remember, division also can look like a fraction. So if you see if you can answer these two questions. So again, this is division. Same thing. So this is saying negative 25 divided by 5. What's that answer? Negative 5. Bring that down so you see it. So this is the same thing as that. It's also the same thing as this. Top number is always in the box. You can put a negative in there. Just remember to put the negative when you divide. So it's going to be a negative what? Same thing, negative 5, right? So what about this answer? Unlike signs. What's unlike signs? Well, you know unlike signs will be negative. And 30 divided by 6 is 5. 6 people owe $30, and they'll each pay $5. That's another way of saying it. Now here's one with order of operations. GEMDIS. See if you can do that one. Okay, and be careful with the absolute value sign and the parenthesis sign. They're not the same. So let's look at this. We can distribute. When there's a negative outside, we can distribute that negative sign inside there, and we'll just get a regular 9. Negative times a negative, remember, is positive, like signs. So it's now 9 divided by 9 times, and the absolute value of 9, of negative 9, is 9. And you should remember in 6th grade, how far is negative 9 from 0? It's 9 away. So then we just have this. And remember in GEMDIS, which you also know as PEMDAS, same thing. We just say GEMDIS. We do whatever comes first between division and multiplication, and you know division came first now. If multiplication came first, we would have done that. So 9 divided by 9 is 1, and 1 times 9, 9. There's our answer. Okay, so that's multiplying and dividing integers. Great job.